Good morning. Good morning, guys. Happy 2026. Welcome to the new year. It's absolutely phenomenal. I can't tell you how good it is to be back on the live, on the gram, setting some diamonds. And it's been a while since we've been back. It's actually been a while since, we've done a live. A lot of planning's gone into this. We're shaking it up for the year. There's a few different things coming your way. So you'll start to notice there's some new kind of content. The lives are going to shift a little bit. I've also in this beautiful 10 o'clock time slot here, nice and important on the Instagram. So super excited about that too. It's really good to have you guys here. What are we going to do today? Today we've got something, I picked this one on purpose. So this is a Bethany, but it's a 1.2 carat Bethany. So you might go, oh, it's not that big. And I say, sure, it's not massive, right? Really nice size, great proportions. Really nice for an engagement ring. But if you're feeling like extra nice, like if it's like a special occasion, birthday or something, like a 1 carat, 1 carat 20, 1 carat 50, it's a nice ring just as like a birthday, anniversary, like a milestone kind of present. Such a nice size. So just, and it's a nice, simple solitaire ring, cathedral shoulders, hidden halo, really nice, really versatile for a gift idea if you need one. But anyway, I will keep talking, but I'll also start setting this. As always, this hasn't changed. Any thoughts, queries, questions, anything you want to know about what I'm doing or what we're doing here or anything jewelry related, please send them through in the comments. We're going to try and answer as many of them as possible. I'll speak to you guys about the answers. We're also going to type some answers out so that if we miss them or there are a few simple ones and we get caught up, definitely check the comments for the replies on those ones. But in the meantime, let's just get going. So is a new year. There is some new stuff in the works, which is really exciting. Hopefully you guys all saw our new Frankie design that I set the other day. That was really nice. We're really excited about that. East-West Radiant. Nice and thick and chunky. Really good time to buy it. Actually, before I keep going, let's have a look at this diamond. One moment. Nice. I put fingerprints on it, but nice. Super nice. Really nice. Great time to buy it. Nice and chunky, bit of gold. The gold price is going a bit bananas. So if you are thinking about getting something chunky, I would definitely jump on it sooner rather than later. Those kind of thick ring styles, they always are on trend. People love them. They're timeless. Something a little bit different as well. So definitely can't argue with that. We have our first question. Is hidden better than non-hidden? I'm assuming we're talking about for the halo. It's not really about which one's better, which one's like worse. Like I wouldn't think about it like that. It's more that question is more personal preference. I would have some sort of support bar, gallery rail, something hidden halo, something in there anyway to hold, for a bit of support for your setting. Regardless if you go for a hidden halo or a like a traditional upwards facing halo or a wraparound halo is the other one I'm looking for. So either option is really good. I wouldn't say you have to do one or you have to do the other, that's for sure. Alright, like I said, it's a little bit dirty, but you can see it's going to be when we're done, it's going to be a really nice ring. We've lost the camera. I don't know what's going on here. Here we go. Don't know why we lost the camera, but we're back. It's going to look really nice when that's done. Really nice proportions, like I said. Perfect ring for an engagement, perfect ring for an anniversary. It's really versatile, to be honest. I really like it. I definitely see them around. They're super on trend. Ovals are one of those shapes that are really never out of style. So, that's always a big win for everyone. I know people are really conscious of, they don't want to have something too out there that, gets really dated or, too time stamped. But I think for me, I think it's really nice to, have something that you like, not what everybody else wants you to have. If that makes sense. That's just my little bit of advice. So, as always, for anyone that's new, what we're doing now is we're just cutting these little bearings for our stone to sit in. So this is going to be a little seat that like squeezes and holds that diamond nice and tight. So we're just going to cut them out, and you'll see that there's little marks in the metal from when I put that diamond in, which helps mark the height and where I want to position it. That's really important. We have to make sure we cut them even. If they're not even, then the stone sits crooked and then no one's happy. So we don't want to do that. So this process does take a little bit of time, a little bit of backwards and forwards, and could be rushed. But if you rush this process, then you just end up with a little bit of a sloppy job where it's crooked or it's leaning one way, it doesn't fit properly, and then you just open yourself up for a world of hurt. So we don't want to do that. We can take our time and get it really nice and spot on. But at the same time, again, please feel free to shoot through any questions you might have in the comments. I know I'm not your usual Thursday live person. I do have some, you might say I have some jewellery knowledge that I'm here. So definitely fire away. And if you are really keen to see Juliet today, I do believe you can tune in to our TikTok channel. Juliet's going to go live on our TikTok channel, and she's going to talk, I'm not sure what she's talking about today. I think she may be talking about some new designs, maybe. But definitely tune in at 11 to find out what she's up to today. So as well as cutting metal out of the claws, we're also going to cut some metal out of the inside of the setting. And you can see that the stone has also marked the inside of the claws, the inside of the setting the same way it did the claws. That means that it's the facets of the, on the bottom of the stone, on the pavilion, are pushing into the setting. So it means we can't get the height any lower because there's a bit of tension. So we don't want it sitting too high, and we don't want it to be under too much pressure either. So we just take a little bit of metal out of this underneath section, and then we'll be able to get the stone to drop really nicely into the bottom of where we cut our bearings, and then we can fold those claws over super, super tight. They're not going to lift, they're not going to get catchy on you, all of that kind of stuff. Alright, so you can see, let me see if I can show you. You can see some of these shadows in here, under here. That's where the stone is pressing in, and it's saying, peg the metal out. Essentially, it wants a little bit more wiggle room. So, we oblige. We just really gently Now, this setting is, for anyone wondering, is in platinum. It's not in white gold. I love platinum. Personal favorite if I'm looking for an alternate to yellow gold. I really love it. Its durability, the color, it's hyperallergenic as well for anyone that may struggle with that. Um, I just love its versatility. I like how it just stays so bright, so polished. Really wears well as well, which is phenomenal. I have another question here. Do all jewelers? No, sorry. What microscope do you use? Yes, I do have an Investor. It's an Investor 3, which is a Leica, which is phenomenal. I have used a few other brands as well, and they're really good. But at the moment, it's an Investor, which is great to hook the camera up, which is really important. And my next question we have here is, do all jewelers make that space for the diamond to sit perfectly? Everyone has their own process and they do it slightly different. Here at Cullen Jewellery, we're all doing it like this. We're all trying to make sure everything sits really, really tight. So all our diamonds are cut. All our settings for our diamonds are cut, and we go through the same process. But every individual person, every individual small business jeweler or big business or anything in between, everyone's going to have their slight differences to how they go about it. And you see a lot of that online as well. Like I watch other people set all the time and get some ideas, things that I think, oh, maybe I'll try that. I see some stuff that maybe I don't like and say, look, well, I wouldn't do that, but that's okay. That's up to them. It really varies. As long as you get to for us, as long as we get to the end point, it's nice and safe and we can stand by our setting, we're happy. But yeah, what other people do out of these four walls, could be anything. I hope that's a clear enough answer. I've got a couple more questions here as well. How do claws start snagging if they're super secure? My ring was done by you guys, so it is secure. I can't imagine it snagging on anything, but I'm still careful. Yes, awesome. It's always good to be careful. They are super durable. Metal is really hard. The diamond is really hard, but you still need to have a lot of care. I don't wear any rings when I come to work for that reason, because I don't want to, with my hands all day. So I don't want to bash and crash it around, because, over time you will do damage. It'll damage the gold. You'll dent the band. You might warp the band. You could chip the stone if you're not careful and you hit it really hard on a sweet spot. So what could happen is, you're wearing it and maybe you're a bit rough and you're like bashing it around and stuff. And what happens is all that pressure on the ring and on the diamond, it pushes on, if you're pushing on the stone, it kind of can wobble a little bit. What happens is it can kind of lift the claw just slightly enough to get, a few fibers from your clothes under there. And then you can go past and, rub it on yourself or on a blanket or something, and you'll snag the claw and you'll probably rip a hole in your blanket and then pull your claw back unintentionally. So they are super secure and super, super durable. But yeah, my biggest advice is take care. Be really, really mindful of when you wear your ring and how you wear it, what you're doing. If you're gonna go in the garden or you're gonna do some really hands-on kind of stuff, I'd take it off. Like I take my rings off when I come here for that reason. Because yeah, you just don't want to give yourself the heartache of something going wrong. And my other advice is bring it back regularly, every 12 months, 18 months for checkups. We can setting check it, give it a clean for you, see anything that we flag, we say, oh, better look at that. But most of the time all is good, but it's good for us to check. Next thing, bang. I was already talking about it and I got a question about it. How often should we get our settings checked? It's a great question. Like I said, every 12, 18, 24 months, that kind of thing. If you're super vigilant with your ring as well and you're really paying attention and, if you hear something and you get it checked straight away, but if everything is good and everything's going well, you keep it clean, all of that kind of stuff, every 12 to 18 months is good. Even every 2 years if you want, that's okay. But I definitely would get it checked. Not because I'm worried, but it's better for us to check and go, oh, hey, we've noticed this slight thing. Let's fix it before it gets worse, or fix it before something goes wrong. Then, you hold out and it gets worse and, the stone may fall out or something major might happen. And then it's a big, big consequence. And the last one is hello from the UK. Good morning. I think it's good evening, I think, in the UK there. Thanks for joining in. It's really great to have you. It'd be really late, actually. Really late in the UK. So thank you very much for tuning in. Okay, I got one from Sophia. How long does it take a ring take to craft? That's a great question. Pardon me. The rings go through a few different stages, so I'll keep working and talking to you at the same time. So the rings go a few different stages. So if you pick one of our, like this design is a Bethany for one. This will go into one of our showrooms. But if you come in and say, oh hey, I want a 1 carat Bethany, that kind of thing. Okay, no worries. We tell you 8 weeks. So what does that entail? So what that entails is we have to build the CAD. Although we know your design, the CAD for the ring is made for your specific stone size, so the setting and for your finger size, so that we get it as close as possible to perfect. So we have to do minimal amount of work, now in the metal and all of that kind of stuff. So we have to do that. Then there's the CAD phase. We move into a casting. We have to then turn the metal from like a 3D CAD into into metal. Really, we have to make it exist in real life, and that takes a few days as well. So you have to imagine, we're doing all these orders at the same time. So we're having to roll CADs over, roll them into casting or printing and casting, and get the metal. So we get the rings in our hands, and then one by one we sit down and we clean up all the metal and take away any excess and make the surface nice and smooth, because it comes out really rough and porous. Kind of looks like orange skin. Like if you look at the surface of an orange, a little bit lumpy. That's how the metal comes out when we cast it. So have to clean that all up and polish everything. It goes through our QC process at that point as well. So anything we might miss in the workshop, they help pick up and say, look, we have to look at this, do all of that kind of stuff. Set our small stones or our melees, so it could be our hidden halo, could be our accent stones and band, anything like that. Gets polished, we check it again, we're happy, then comes into one of our setters box. So it could be mine or anyone else in the workshop, and we go, okay, time to set the center stone. So it's like, all right, no problem. And then we get to this point, and once we get to this point, it's probably maybe half an hour, 45 minutes at the center stone. If I'm talking to you like this, maybe a little bit longer, because I'm having a really good time. And then straight to our good friend Nilesh. Nilesh does the polish, spends a bit of time with it there, so it comes out Mickey Mouse. Then goes to QC, check it again, check the whole ring, any engraving, any of that kind of stuff. And then it goes out to our production team, who box it up, send you guys some photos and videos, get you guys to come pick it up, organize all of that sort of thing. So I know it might seem, we can do it a lot quicker, but it is a bit of a lengthy process, and it does take a bit of time. And if you're only doing one ring ever, sure, you can do it faster. But when you're doing orders like we are, and we're really lucky, we have an awesome supporter base and customer base. It just takes a little bit of time. We are looking to try and shorten everything and work out some process stuff, but it's a really in-depth, especially when you try to do really high quality finishes, and we're pretty pedantic about how about all of the details, and really get into it with our microscope, the QC level. So there's a lot of care and a lot of effort that gets put into making sure it's perfect the first time it walks out the door. Alright, so I just brought those claws in a little bit. We're just going to have a look. It's sitting a lot nicer now, which is phenomenal. I'm just going to cut the seat a little bit further, so we've got a nice tight setting on the nice and tight claws holding our stone. I use this little ball burr, really sharp, really small. If you look at it like this, it's super tiny, but then you look at it under the microscope and you're like, wow, it's still not that big, but super sharp. You see how quickly it cuts. Like, bang, like that. Already got a nice little concave there to put our stone in. Now, not everyone does this. Actually, I'll get to that point in a minute. Thank you for sharing. No problem, Soph. I have an appointment this weekend with my partner. Are there any tips or anything to pay attention to prior to our appointment? Great question. My biggest advice is, my few biggest points are: have a look at what you might like what you might want to look at while you're here, so that you can really make the most of your appointment. So come a little bit prepared, but also come with an open mind to try different things on, and let yourself be amazed by what you might find. You might think you want, an oval, but you try and you're like, wow, a marquee is for me. I like it's long, it's slender, it's all these different things. So I'd be really open about just trying as much as possible, while also having an idea of what you're after. So you got to try and balance those 2 points. And my other biggest point is just enjoy the moment. Like, really enjoy the process. It's a lot of fun. And it's great that you and your partner are coming in as well. So it's a beautiful journey that you guys are going to go on together, and it's just really the start of it. So yeah, really be prepared, be open, and just enjoy everything that comes your way with starting this process, which is phenomenal. But that's a really great question as well. I know Juliet is also putting together she's doing some videos at the moment about some tips for, what you should do before your appointment. But if you're asking me about my top 3, they're probably my top 3 points. But I'm sure there is more if I sit down and really think about it. But if we ever want to get this diamond set, I probably can't sit here and tell you every bit of advice I've ever thought of. All right, so what I'm doing now as well is I'm just cleaning up the inside of this setting where I took some metal out. So you don't have to do this, and not everyone does. Again, every setter and every jeweler has their own process, and that's okay. I'm not gonna say you have to or you don't have to, but I really like to clean up this inside section so that when I polish it, it really reflects back and it looks like I haven't cut anything away. It's just one of those slight extra little bits that, I like to do that. Sure, it takes another couple of minutes, but it really helps with the overall finish, which for me is really important. I want to make sure that, I do the best possible job. Even when you can and can't, where you can and can't see, I don't like to cut corners in, hiding stuff under the stone or anything like that. Awesome. And then, yes, there is stuff absolutely everywhere. So what I'll do is I'll polish the inside as well. I'm just going to cut. I've got a few other things that I want to prepare before I go. Before I go to polish. But I will polish that inside so it comes up really like a mirror, like it was before I cut any metal away. So I'm just going to cut these little channels in, which is going to be a really big help with getting the claws nice and flush on the stone. So now, again, not everyone does this, and that's okay. I'm not saying I have the best way or I have the only way. This is just the way I like to do things, and we like to do it here. I'm not going to say that it's the only way to do it. There's plenty of different ways to do it, and I'm not going to say that, someone else who has a slightly different process is wrong. I'm a big supporter of everyone, and there's many ways to do the same thing. So I'm always open to new ideas. That's why I like watching, other jewelers and other setters work, so I can see what do they do. Is there anything, that they do that I can add to my process or add to my bag of tricks as well. Sweet. Awesome. I'm just going to give the inside just a little bit of a polish as well. All right, you can see it's still nice and polished like it was before, which is really important. Again, like I said to you, I really want to make sure every little detail is looked after and considered. All right, let's put this stone in, and we're going to have a look how nice and snug it's going to. Perfect, nice and snug. Now we're going to check that everything meets up really well, which I'm really happy about because it does at the moment. Beautiful, nice and straight. You can see that it's sitting really, really nice. Awesome. Check the top as well. Perfect. So from now, it's going to start to one by one push these claws over slowly, slowly. So again, we don't want to push too far and knock it out of being straight and square, or else then, you know, once it's crooked, it's really hard. We can fix it, but it's really hard to come back from, so we don't want to do that. Lovely. All right, we're just going to push them nice and flat onto the stone. You can see when I cut those flat surfaces on the inside, that was so that they sit nice and flat on the stone here, which is awesome. If you leave it curved, you've got less surface area touching the stone, which is not ideal. Again, can do it, but you don't get as nice of a connection, so I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do now, very quickly, is I'm just going to turn off the microphone because I'm going to use this handpiece, and for anyone that's been here before, they know all about it, but for anyone that hasn't, this is a pneumatic graver, and what it does is it's kind of like a tattoo gun. It's like a hammer. It's like bang, 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 bang. So I'm going to put my little hammer handpiece in, which I will show you under the microscope, like that I made myself. Yes, super proud. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hammer. I'll show you. I'm going to hammer these claws onto the stone super, super, super flush and make sure that there's very, very minute chance of them ever lifting. But the reason I'm going to turn the mic off is it's really loud. And once I put it to the metal and start doing that, it's very uncomfortable and annoying to listen to, especially if you're trying to listen with headphones. So I won't do that to you. We'll just turn the mic off for 30 seconds. I'll do this and I'll be right back. All right. Thanks for your patience, guys. You will see, I hammered all of those claws down, so they're super, super, super tight on the stone. And I did do a bit of filing as well, and the reason is I hammered it, filed it, and then hammered just again. When there's a little bit less metal, you can get nice, even tighter compress. So what I'm just going to do now is give it some final shape, and then I'm going to go in with my engraver and really cut the sides super flat and get rid of these file marks as well. Apologies if you really hate that noise, because I don't love it either, but just... All right, so we're gonna have a look at those claws. They look good. You go, all right, what I'm gonna do now is just start shaping them. So, really I'm gonna continue shaping them like I have. I'm gonna take a little bit off the top, and then I'm gonna run my engraver through it, and I'll show you what that looks like so that you can see it's really it's really rough on the side edge. So we want to get rid of all that and make it nice and smooth so that when we polish it, it looks like a mirror. It doesn't look like we just polished super dirty scratches into the ring. So this is my engraver, flat surface, tight corners. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take nice little shavings off the side. And you can see I haven't even polished the ring. I'm just cutting this metal away. Look at that. You can already start to see we're getting a bit of a mirror finish there where we don't have it on that side. It's still really matte because we haven't taken the scratches away yet. Be great actually as well if you guys want to chuck it in the chat now, or you want to DM us as well some other ring styles that you want to see me set on these lives so we can talk about it. You can ask questions while I'm doing it as well. So any of those ideas or thoughts, please definitely send them through either in the comments box or send it as a DM as well. We can add it to our list because we do have a few that we want to show you guys anyway. I've got an awesome list of stuff lined up that I'm preparing to set for our some setting videos that we're going to post on our timeline, some new designs, a few little sneak peek kind of things, so that's really exciting to look forward to as well. Just going to geese over now. I think there's a question waiting for me. So what else can I, what is the name of the ring you are currently making? The one I'm doing at the moment is called Bethany. It's one of our biggest sellers, nice hot favorite. I'd definitely write that down. If you're interested in ovals, I'd definitely have a look at it. It's really, really lovely. Just a nice overall design. And I'll take it out of, once I'm finished setting it, I'll take it out of my little vise that's holding the ring, and I'll show you what it looks like once we're done as well. I also have another one. Is there a structure difference when the claws are made pointy like this versus rounded? Slightly different. Like obviously the process is slightly different as well, but if they're done properly, they're both really, really secure, which is great. I wasn't always a big fan of eagle tip claws because I didn't like how other people had done them and a few other bits and pieces, but we've really workshopped how we do them here to get them really, really tight, and we want to make sure that the shape is nice, but structurally they're really, really sound. So at this point, you know, with ours, I wouldn't say there's too much of a difference. The process is really similar with rounds to eagles, except, you know, eagle tips are a lot longer. So, you know, it's almost set a round claw in a similar way, except instead of having it a lot longer and pointy, we keep it nice and short and rounded. But no, I think you're good either way. The only possibility with the eagle tips is if it bumps, you bump it around, too many times, and it sort of lifts one claw a little bit, might just get a little bit catchy. But that could happen. That could even happen with a round claw, that it could get a little, you bump the stone too many times and it moves a little bit and gets a little bit catchy as well. So it's all about how you wear it, but overall, it's up to you. You can, go either way. Definitely go either way. I wouldn't say there's a hard preference. All right, so this part is a little bit delicate and does take a little bit of extra time, because if I don't do it straight and they end up a little bit curved, then it doesn't look right, and then no one's happy with curved eagle tips. I want them nice and straight and flat on the sides, obviously. So I'm also going to adjust just the length as well. So I want them nice and proportionate length, but I don't want them too long where it just looks a little bit ridiculous. So we're just going to work at it while we clean these side bits. And to get a really, really nice final finish, what I am going to do is I'm going to polish this little engraver thing, so you guys do get to see that, to make it sharp again, because the diamond does damage it, and you can see it's lost its corners and that kind of thing. So I'm going to use this disc, which is a diamond disc. And what it does is it cuts away the metal on my graver so that I can polish it nice and sharp. Like using a knife, you want to make sure you're always using a sharp graver. That's how you get the best job, and it's the safest way. If it's not sharp and it's chipped and blunt, you're not going to get a great result, but you're also more likely to slip and really hurt yourself. So I don't feel like hurting myself today. I've got too much work to do this afternoon, so definitely don't want to hurt myself. And then what I do is we use this other one, same as how we're polishing our ring at the moment. This disc also is a diamond disc, but it's really, really fine. You can see how nice and polished it leaves the graver. Alrighty. Oh yeah, much nicer. Glides like butter, which is phenomenal. Okay, so that's our overall, gives us our main shape, which is phenomenal. What I am going to do now is I'm going to take it out of my ball vise here that's holding it in, which you can see. I'm going to pop that out, and I'm going to clean the rest in my hands. And the reason for that is I can get all the angles right, and I can get the nice curve on top with the flat sides. So I'll just show you as well, this is what the ring looks like. It's really nice. It's got this beautiful cathedral shoulders, hidden halo, and you'll be able to put a fitted wether, flush up against it, which is also really nice if that's what you're into. For me, I really like a flush fitted wether on it. So I am a big supporter of having good height on my settings to make sure that I can put fitted wetters underneath. Alright, so now it's going to, like we were with the Gravo, it's going to really shape these claws one at a time. So we want to take away all the marks we put in as well as finish shaping them as well. Alright, you can see there, we also got it nice and even and smooth. That's really important. I don't want it to be wavy or anything like that. I want to keep it nice and flat. Almost like the ring was just cut out of a magazine and it's like, wow. Doesn't even look like anyone has touched it. Alright, so we're just going in with a bit of a coarse white wheel. It's not too rough or anything like that, but it's enough that we're going to get a nice smooth finish so that I can go back in with, you work your way down, go slightly softer, so that, you take away all the previous marks. I have a question here. Are you scratching the diamond while doing this? No, that's a great question. These wheels that I'm using on the ring at the moment are not scratching the diamond. If I was to use the diamond wheel, which I use to cut my engraver, and I put that on my near the diamond and touched it by accident, that would damage the diamond. So that's because it's made from crushed up diamonds. But the wheels that I'm using at the moment, if you have a look, it actually cuts my wheel as opposed to destroy the diamond. So the diamond is way harder than my wheel. I think my wheel is just made up of it's like a rubber silicone kind of thing. So it's nowhere near close enough to damage the stone, which is really important. That's why we make sure we only use tools on the stone that's safe to do so, because I really don't want to do any damage to the diamond, especially after we've worked so hard to get to this point, and then you damage it because you slip or something like that. That's not great. So all these ones are safe, which is good. It's like my file and my graver. Still got to be careful, but they're safe to use as well. The diamond will actually cut away the steel from my file, and it's actually going to weather this wheel down, which is pretty cool actually to see. If you've never, you don't expect it to happen. You think you're going to destroy it, but you're not. So what else have we got? What metal is this ring? This ring is in our platinum, so platinum 950. Again, really beautiful metal. I'd really recommend, if you're going to go for a non-yellow gold, I would definitely go for platinum. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. I really can't recommend it enough to people, how good of a metal it is. You'll also see I have put the dust of these wheels is going absolutely everywhere, all over the ring, all over the diamond, all over my hands as well. But what's really cool is now when I'm done with this part, I'm going to go in with my little polishing brush, and it's like a magic reveal kind of thing that we see how it turns up. Alright, let me get my little polishing wheel, put a little bit of compound on. Then we just really gently polish each claw, each side, each surface. And I like to do this part under the microscope before I send it to Nilesh to polish, because Nilesh polishes on a really big mop, which is great for the ring itself, but it's a little bit too big and too heavy for these little claws. So I go in with this nice little brush to keep it really delicate. I also don't want to over polish it to take too much metal away. And just like that, that's our Bethany. Really nice, super polished, high polished sides. There's still a little bit of gunk and stuff on the ring, I know, but once we put that in the ultrasonic, all of that's gonna come out. But yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm really glad to have done first live 2026 in the book. Super excited about what's to come for the rest of the year. I'm really hoping I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm really hoping. Before I wrap up, what is a good thickness for the bezel to be, as in for the diamond, not to fall out of the setting? Curious, as I know I'll be getting the Billy, so I want to secure it to be as secure as possible. Great question. I'll finish on this one as well. We offer 2.6 and 1 mil. I would personally go for the 1 mil. I just like the thickness, and you get a really nice thick bezel frame after we've set it. Really like that thickness. If you're super conscious, I'd go a 1 mil bezel, because you just got that extra weight there and extra thickness. 0.6 is fine, perfectly fine, but yeah, I'd recommend the 1 mil in your case. And I just like it because it's heavier and a little bit thicker, is my kind of style. But again, on that note, thank you guys very much. If there's anything we didn't get to, please send them through as a DM. Try to get through as much as we can whilst setting this ring, whilst trying to answer everything, and and not take up 3 hours of your day. Have a great day, guys. I'll hopefully see you all tomorrow. Don't forget, 11 o'clock.